This land has been wild and overgrown for a long time, but bit by bit I am shaping it into something new. This week it's all about wood, clearing invasive trees, chipping branches, and turning it all into something useful. From fire prevention to garden transformation. Let's see what a few wood chips can do. So I'm about to do some wood chipping again because I cleared a big part of the mimosa forest, and I have to get rid of all of the branches and the tiny trees. And I really like the wood chipping part, but I will show you how I have to get the big machine from the shed up to, well, the spot where I wood chip at the moment. So that's the non-fun part, because the machine is quite heavy and I have to get up this, well, fairly steep, tiny hill. But with this big machine it's a struggle. So you can watch and enjoy this little show. Do you see what I mean? Have to move you guys so you can enjoy the rest of the show. Alright, that's the first step of the project. I'm just collecting the last part of the wood chips because I prefer to use the old ones, the garden beds, and then the new ones to let them, cure or rest, I don't know how to call it, decompose, I guess, for a little while before I use them in the garden, if it's possible, of course. So this pile here, or the rest of the pile, has probably been here for like maybe 2 months now. So I think it's alright to use it. I mean, it would be way better, of course, it's already decomposed for half a year or year. But you know what? It is what it is. And in case you're wondering if I'm sweating, yes I am, but protection first. So while I keep gathering more of those branches and all of those baby trees, I want to show you what the current state looks like in the forest, kind of. So I cleared quite a bit of the area already. I mean, here you can see in the background, it starts to be a bit more clearer. And that's kind of the result that you can see here in the background, what I'm going for. So I really want to take out all of the smaller mimosas and just leave the bigger ones. I will still clean this even more, but I need the big chainsaw to get those half big trees in between. But first I want to see, where the big trees are spread out and kind of create a nice looking forest. And then the plan is to in between plant some local native non-fire risky trees in between, just to make this in the future a more fireproof and also more natural diverse forest. So that's kind of the plan. In the background you can see a small compost bin that I've built, and I used the old boards that were for the concrete base for my shed. So I repurposed them and they make a nice looking compost bin now. Pretty useful as well. So we'll continue on this part now, clearing this last bit of the driveway, and then step by step I'm moving in towards this mess that you can see in the background. So there's a lot to do, and I do it step by step because also it's a very repetitive task, so it's not really much fun, I would say. I enjoy it, but I wouldn't enjoy it if I do it every day. So maybe I do it once a week or so, that I clear a bit more of the forest. And then the wood chipping, I wait until I have more material or more branches and trees together that I can, wood chip in one go, just like I did yesterday. So I will cut with this one first to clear out the baby ones. Then I go in with my small mini chainsaw, and then in the next step I would go in with my big chainsaw. So that kind of, makes sense in my opinion. Alrighty, let's do this. So while clearing out, I get to discover some weird stuff. So first I found this old marble piece. First I thought it might be a gravestone, but it's not. So I don't really know what the purpose is. And then over here I found an old pile of old bottles. Some beer bottles, I guess. Well, here you could see it's a beer bottle. Superbock. Which one do you prefer? Sagres or Superbock? Those are two Portuguese beer brands, the most common ones. Yeah, well, I guess that's a clearing project for another day. It's all under that moss as well, so that's gonna be quite a mission. But otherwise, the other mission is going well. It's clearing up more and more. And here you can already see the neighbor's wall. So that's my neighbor's property, which nobody uses. So I'm gonna clear that out eventually as well, once I'm finished with my land, because the more I clear out, the safer it will be in summer. And yeah, otherwise it's going well, so let's keep going. isn't it? So it's good. Super. Good morning. So it is time to finish the last part of the garden. There's not much left, but I have this pathway here along the sides, which I haven't done. Well, basically because it wasn't so important and there were other projects that had priority. But now it rained yesterday and it will rain, I think, this afternoon. So I figured it's quite a good time to lay down the cardboard, because that just gives the cardboard a good soak and then it helps it to break down quicker. So far that has been my experience and has given those beds a quite good success rate so far. So we'll keep on doing that. Jack, are you eating grass? Alright, well, while he's having his breakfast, I will put down the cardboards on the side, and then I did of course a whole lot of wood chips, which that's why I'm timing this now as well, so I can cover all the pathways with the wood chips as well. And I have to do the end of the garden as well, so I will maybe add 1.5 meters more to it and then start building the fence. Maybe that's tomorrow. Let's see how far I come today. And yeah, and then I have to build a second gate. And that's kind of the gist for the setup of the garden, and then of course the watering system. I got all of my pieces well, partly in the shops, and the rest I've ordered, so I'll just have to wait a few more days until everything is delivered, and then I can start with the setup. But so far, as you can see, it's still raining a few days in a week or in a couple of weeks, so I don't have to rush really with the setup so far, because using also the method with a lot of mulch and wood chip and good compost underneath, that kind of helps also to keep those garden beds really moist, even with a lot of sunshine. And we had a couple of days of 25, 26 degrees full day sun already, and they were still like moist. So I'm really happy and can really recommend it full-heartedly, that this is a great method even in really warm climates. So I'm happy with that. My beetroot is growing fantastic. It's such a great time to see everything, you know, grow, and all the effort is kind of rewarded right now with this perfect season of, you know, sunshine, but right in between. It's fantastic. Mr. Jack, are you enjoying yourself? Oh yeah, and maybe you noticed I've done some weed whacking around a bit of the greenhouse and the areas where I have to walk a lot, because the grass or the weeds, the flowers, everything basically just grown really high, and on the pathways I kind of find it annoying. But I've still left the 2 terraces that I've done with cover crops fully intact, because now the seeds that I thought might not grow are coming out now, so it's just a delayed process. So it's actually quite a surprising good result. That first there were some specific cover crops that came up. Those have almost died down, so they're falling down naturally, and now some new cover crops are coming from underneath. So it's such a great system, I figured. And I've not done like immense amount of research on which cover crops to use. I just used, you know, that blend. Maybe you watched one of my old videos, you can see it. I just mixed up quite a bit of seeds and then just, you know, spread it around the area, and yeah, it worked. So I'm really happy, and you could see all the butterflies and the bees buzzing around and having their juicy nectar. So I'm really happy about that aspect as well. So yeah, I can recommend that technique as well. It worked here at least, so success. Here you can see my spinach coming out, and I've planted a baby sage over here. Sage can grow really bushy, so I expect this to be like this maybe in a couple of years, which is great. I love sage, especially in, you know, winter time, for like throat soothing or like bacterial. It has like, I think, antibacterial properties or something like that. I love the taste also together in like a stir fry of carrots, and then with a bit of butter and a bit of sage. Delicious. And carrots are coming out over here. They took quite some time, so they're coming out here. I've sown them all, you know, spread around the beds, so even if the carrot fly comes, they might just focus on one part and not all of them. And I've also sown some onions and a few coming out, but it's not as successful as the carrots. So I'm not sure what I've done wrong, or if the seeds were too wet or whatever, the circumstances were from the weather. But yeah, carrots are doing great. But good thing, why am I pointing with this? But also in the greenhouse I've sown some leek and some onions separately. So I will transplant them maybe when I'm finished with all of this. And then they can, grow in between all of those different plants, because onions are pretty easy with companion planting, I figured. Their smell sends away quite a lot of those pests. I think the only thing that don't match us as well, according to the books at least, is peas and beans, I think, with onion and leek. But again, I think if you plant like one or two in between, I think you should be totally fine. I think it's just like if you do like a whole load of in one spot, which I don't, as you can see, I do really like spread around. And it looks nice in my opinion, that spread around technique, because you have all sorts of different shapes and forms and colors all along the bed. I'm really happy with it. And I can't wait to show it to you in a few weeks or maybe in a month, how different it will look as well. Alright, let's stop talking, let's go to work. It always surprises me how much actually wood chips you need. You kind of have to think about that those part of the leaves which are mixed in there will shrink down really, really quickly, and then you're just left with the wood chips basically. So I'm out of breath. Walking up that hill to get the wood chips is quite a workout. So so putting them down now, I make sure I really put a thick layer on, even if it looks like way too high. But first of all, the cardboard will sink down even more with the rain and while breaking down, and then this as well will condense way more. If I think about when I put down the first layer of wood chips, it was also almost at the same level as the garden beds, and now they're like at least 10 centimeters lower. So yeah, that's one advice I can give you maybe if you want to do that. Just to make sure to have enough wood chips. Obviously I'm pretty lucky to have, well, it's a curse and a blessing at the same time, is having mimosa here in the land, which I can just go crazy and use for the wood chipping and the pathways and everything. But yeah, for sure you need a lot. And in the next video, if Jack lets me, I'll be back in the garden building another fence and beginning the setup of my gravity-fed irrigation system. No electricity, just a bit of planning, creativity and a lot of hoses. It's one of the biggest experiments on my land so far, and I can't wait to take you along for it. See you next time. Bye!